The next parameter is how we interact with people around us or our social connections. As you can see in the diagram, the graph is sloping downwards. What I'm trying to tell is quite obvious. Over the generations, the amount of social contact with other people we have has been decreasing. In the earlier generations, even up to mine, Generation X, we definitely had people who were socially incompetent, but they had to learn to adjust with the society in general. There was no option. Even in my school days, let's say I did not like to mix around with other friends. It was not possible because I couldn't find an excuse not to do so, except that I am studying. However, today, even in schools, the student can say that they are busy on their mobile phone or laptops or at the computer room. Whereas in my generation, we don't have a choice not to socialize. Today's students have that choice. The initial contact with people you do not know or that you do not like is always difficult. It's like saying static friction is greater than dynamic friction, or in a simpler example, it's like saying it's harder to start a bicycle than it is to go faster once the bike is in motion. So, because that initial phase is hard, many of the children today just give up, not knowing that if they could still hang on a few more days, it would be much more easy for them to make friends. I repeat that before we didn't have a choice, but now they have a choice, and it's perfectly acceptable for a student to stay out of a group using his mobile phone. Nobody would think negatively or raise a eyebrow in such a situation. Even the effect of such a culture is that not having social contact has become socially acceptable. In this way, the students are never able to move from static friction to dynamic friction, as we discussed earlier. This has led to students who are not able to make friends and mix around with other people. Coming back to Generation Z and Alpha, what this means is that when the student come to school or college, he will not be able to strike up a conversation with other people in his classroom without talking. He won't develop a relationship with them. Consequently, I have seen so many students who began to hate coming to school or college because they couldn't make friends. As I mentioned earlier, this being the major reason for absenteeism nowadays, we have to start to try and find a solution for this problem. How will loneliness affect the studies? Well, it will be difficult to love to come to college or school because there's nobody expecting you, and you don't feel the warmth in terms of emotionality. So, by not attending class itself, the student loses his capacity to study. The next problem occurs when there is something to ask and he's not able to do so because he hasn't had that kind of relationship with others in his class. Besides studies, this decrease in social connection will hamper that student in every aspect of his life later on. So, my advice to colleges is to have special classes where the students are made to socialize forcefully through various activities. They don't know how to do it themselves anymore. We have to teach them again. Television had a great impact on the older generation, starting from the baby boomers. However, now, because of other sources of information, its importance has decreased. The good thing about television was that everybody had the same source of information. In this way, there was consistency in the mentality. In terms of studies, television created a diversion in the earlier generation up till the millennium generation. However, it was easy to get back into the studying process. All you need to do was to shut the TV off, and everybody was aware when somebody broke the rule and started watching television. As you can see in the diagram, this possibility where television was the only source of distraction is decreasing across the newer generations. So now the main distraction is the mobile phones and the readily available broadband or 4G. As you can see in the diagram with the upward slope, the effect of that technology is more predominant in the Generation Z and Alpha. The millennials had some effect from the mobile phone, but by the time it came and became so much part of our lifestyle, they had almost finished graduation. The Generation Z, also known as the internet generation, almost had unlimited internet access when they were born. Mobile phones, tablets were the fashion. At the beginning, the students could manage their studies because it was a novelty, that is the mobile phones, and there were so few apps to be distracted by. Then over time, more apps came up and broadband became almost free, and the amount of time that a student would allocate for studies decreased in an inverse proportion. There are some smart students in Generation Z who were able to use their mobile phones productively, but most of them became the eyeball hours for those multinational unicorns like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and so on. In 2025, the Generation Z has matured a lot, and it's almost impossible to study without a mobile phone because most of the assignments are sent on apps. While ChatGPT can do your homework, it's better to use it as a personal tutor who can check your homework. These kinds of redefinition of technology needs to be done. However, the students themselves can do it, and those who have lived in an era of no mobile, that is Generation X and some of the millennials, should try to help the students find the correct use of technology. You don't need a dictionary now. You can just look it up on Google. You don't need to take private tuition in math or sciences. You can go to YouTube and there will be thousands of videos related to the topic that you are trying to understand. Even if you have a mathematical problem that you cannot solve, you can take a picture of the equation and put it on Gemini or ChatGPT. It will explain to you every step even better than a book. You can even have your essay checked grammatically using these apps. You do not have to go to the library to find books for reference. All you need to do is to do a Google search and find one of the online libraries. If you do not understand something in English, then you can translate it back to your original local language and vice versa using a translate app. Mobiles are not only meant to mindlessly scroll the reels or to make TikToks or to play video games or even to bet on cryptocurrency. This is something that the generation Z and Alpha need to be taught. It's something that they cannot learn on themselves because they haven't seen a world without mobiles and internet. Artificial intelligence came after the innovation of and wide usage of mobiles and the internet. Times it is given more credit than it actually deserves. Even a simple programming algorithm nowadays is being called AI. It is much more complex, and it consists of feedback system in which the algorithms evolve themselves. AI has affected most the Generation Z, and definitely it will affect the Generation Alpha also. Smarter guys from Generation X, like me, for example, are using AI even to write this book. Without AI, I would not have been able to write my earlier 5 books. The most important feature of AI I'm using is the voice to text app and text to voice app. It's incredible how much my life has been easier. Now imagine how dependent the Generation Z will be on AI. Today, they use AI to do their homework, write essays, solve mathematical problems, make PowerPoints, and even some to write full-fledged books. Some can make cartoons, movies. But again, like I said earlier, the older generation, I've got to give them a context of what was life before AI and how they should make use of AI. For example, in my own case, without AI, I would either need a team of transcribers, and I would need a secretary to read my text out loud because I don't like to read my own books. Then I would need a few editors just to check my spelling and punctuations. I would need a team of video editors. That all means money and time, but mobile phone, internet, and AI has enabled me to bypass all those limitations and make me more productive. So in the same way, we need to teach the new generation to be more productive using AI. Those who were born in a world of AI, especially in the Alpha generation and the later Generation Z, think that this is the way the world is, that is fully controlled by AI. But those of us who were born long time before even the first mobile phone, we all know that life ran pretty much well without all those technologies. And we know exactly which app is replacing what part of our life, and which app is doing whose job. We know which app is helping us in solving which problem which we found it difficult in the pre-AI days. So basically we have a frame of reference, compare today's world full of technology with the world without a technology. For example, in my school days and colleges, I used to travel a lot just to find a library that would have the book that I was looking for. Now, all I need to do is a Google search for that book and download it. So the internet and my mobile phone or laptop saved my time to travel and didn't require me to talk to the librarian and ask him or her where that particular book was, or if they had any suggestion. And then let's say I wanted to make a diagram about something like the one that you are just seeing. Before, I would need to take a paper out, ruler, color pens. Then I would need to write down in pencil first and overwrite it with a color pen. It would take time. Also, if there were some images that I needed that I didn't have, I would have to ask some friends for some old magazines that I could make some cuttings and paste it on my diagram. So that would require me to socialize and go and find that friend. Now we all know how all those activities in this workflow have been nullified with the advent of the mobile phone, the internet, and AI. However, the Generation Z and Alpha do not know that. They even wish that AI would feed them with the information in the brain. They live in a plug and play world, not even needing a driver to make that new device work. For them, everything came with a click. As a result, they have this high expectation that even when it comes to studies and learning, they should be able to just understand at a click. They have this high expectation of teachers, like they should be plug and play. The teacher comes in the class and voila, the student understand and they can get an A in the exam. I wish that life was like that, but we all know, at least those in the older generation, that this is not the case. In the real world, there is nothing such as plug and play, and we both need to socialize, that is the teachers and the students, in order to like each other and understand each other's mannerisms, learning patterns, until we can do our duties, that is the teacher to teach and the student to learn. But it's all screwed up now. The teachers are still from the millennial generation mostly, so it is yet to be seen what will happen when the majority of the teaching faculty will be from Generation Z. This plug and play mentality will definitely affect them too. It just doesn't work like that. The teachers are not compatible directly with the students, no matter how good the teacher is. You need to have the skills of compatibility and creating that bonding. Without collegiality, the student will not learn. Then the student thinks that just because the teacher has taught and is in class, they should be able to understand. But there is lots of self-study that needs to be done. The transfer is not like through a data cable between the teacher and the student. There's even no Bluetooth connection, by the way. It's always been like that, learning. That is, you observe, you listen, and then you practice, you get feedback, and you practice more until you become perfect. But this simple tenet of learning has been forgotten, and the students think that it's a plug and play. Unfortunately, there's nothing such as that. You still need to do the grinding. Also, the click attitude that everything should be instantaneous is more and more rampant in the Generation Z and Alpha. If you can get anything online by just clicking it, then why not knowledge by just desiring it or paying for it? Unfortunately, money is not enough when it comes to studies and learning. The students need to do their own part, and they must be motivated to take in the information, digest it, and produce knowledge out of it that can be retained at least until the exam time, if not for life. This click attitude was never present even until the millennial generation. In my own generation X, we all knew that we had to work hard to get anything, and there was no free lunch, and certainly nothing would come through a click of a button. The highest experience of click we had was the remote control, and that also we knew that wasn't a definition of life, but just a way a device called television worked. Nothing else worked with the remote control, that is why. But now everything is operable through your mobile phone, so why not learning and studies? Unfortunately, those students are not wise enough to know that what they are thinking is impossible, if not insane. Again, it falls under the shoulders and responsibility of the older generation to give them a contrast of the clique attitude versus the real life. That would require the two contrasting generation to sit together and have conducive discussions. Again, that is highly improbable because it's again not a plug and play situation. The emotional and intellectual barriers are so vast that such intergenerational conferences most likely won't happen. Yet, now that we know what the problem is that the students are facing in terms of technology, collectively, the colleges and schools can look for a solution.